Well, hopefully you're enjoying your summer so far. We're already approaching the end of July, which is hard to believe. The training camp for Ontario Hockey League teams coming up in just over a month. And then we're going to be diving right into the 2024-25 OHL regular season. But in the meantime, let's take our time. We'll enjoy it with friends and family and enjoy this warm weather while we can. But in the meantime, I wanted to dive into a news video today because we had some big news this afternoon as Barrie Colts forward Colt Beaudoin has signed his NHL entry level contract with the Utah Hockey Club. Beaudoin selected in the first round at the 2024 NHL entry draft back in June. He went to Utah to do the development camp, and right now the Utah Hockey Club enjoying what they see from the up and coming centerman. And for Cole Beaudoin, he had a monster year in his draft year. If you compare his numbers, in his first year at the Barrie Colts, 8 goals, 12 assists, good for 20 points. That was in 63 games of work. And then this past season, developing some great chemistry with Riley Patterson and Ty York, Beaudoin ended the year with 28 goals, 34 assists, 62 points. He went hard a year ago in the summer, just training and developing, getting ready for the season, and it paid off. All that hard work and that chemistry that he developed last season, expect that to carry over into the coming season. And of course, the Utah Hockey Club, liking what they see, decided to make that first round pick. And it's, I know it's kind of weird saying the Utah Hockey Club. It'll just be for this season. They're supposed to have a name in a year from now. Maybe it's the Yeti. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, Cole Beaudoin preparing to be a member of the Utah Hockey Club. He'll go over to camp with the NHL club, and then we'll see if he sticks at main camp and how long before returning to the Barrie Colts organization. I would expect Cole Beaudoin will be back in the OHL next year, but sometimes you just never know. There are surprises that come up, and for Cole Beaudoin, his hard work paying off. So big congratulations to him, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's able to do as he prepares for his pro career at the National Hockey League level. Now, there was one other signing over the weekend, this time Liam Greentree. He has signed his 3-year NHL entry-level contract with the Los Angeles Kings. And of course, for Greentree, he went 26th overall at the draft. And that's now 5 players from the Ontario Hockey League that have signed their entry-level contracts after being selected in the first round of the 2024 draft. There was Beckett Seneca with the Anaheim Ducks, Sam Dickinson with the San Jose Sharks, Zane Parekh with the Calgary Flames, Cole Beaudoin, who we just talked about with the Utah Hockey Club, and now Liam Greentree with the Los Angeles Kings. So exciting times for him. And for Greentree, playing on Windsor last year was not easy. Of course, the Spitfires finishing at the bottom of the standings, but he was named captain, showed his leadership skills both on and off the ice, and had career highs in goals with 36, 54 assists, and then 90 points. So expect Greentree to take that next step going into next year. Much like Beaudoin, I think Greentree will probably go to main camp with the LA Kings, maybe stick around a little bit, and then come back to the OHL, just probably to let him develop a little bit more, because that Spitfires team right now looking much improved over last season. And of course, you have to figure when you finish at the bottom of the standings, the only way to go is up, and that's where the Spitfires are going to go. So congratulations to Greentree, as he's also signed his NHL entry-level contract. Now, some interesting news coming out of the MHL. They've announced a new overtime rule change. Now, the MHL, if you're not familiar, they're the junior hockey league in Russia, so a level below the KHL. They have 3-on-3 overtime, just like the Ontario Hockey League and the National Hockey League. And when 3-on-3 was first introduced, it was exciting. It was end-to-end action. The turnovers would create odd man rushes, and the overtimes were just so much fun. But with any new change, the coaches, they kind of come up with strategies and figure out a way to control the flow of the game. And that's what 3-on-3 overtime has become. It's a possession game. You win the face-off, and basically you play keep away from the opposition. You don't want those turnovers. And they've done a great job of figuring it out. And it's come to the point where fans have gotten a little frustrated with the way the overtime has been, because you'll see the players take the puck into the attacking zone. They don't like what they see, and they'll just take the puck back into their own end. And we've seen that quite a bit. And the MHL looking to address that problem. So what they've done is that they're going to have a rule in place where you cannot take the puck back into your own zone after you cross the red line at center ice. The first time you do it, they'll blow the play dead, and then they'll have a face-off. But for the second violation of the rule, a minor penalty will be handed out to the team that had the infraction. So then the opposition will get a power play in overtime, which is huge. Like, we see that often when a penalty is called. It can sway the momentum of the hockey game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out with the MHL. Obviously, the National Hockey League and the Canadian Hockey League are probably going to be keeping a close eye on this to see how does it work. Is it something that could be transferred over to North America? I personally believe this would be a great step in the right direction. It's kind of like the backcourt violation in basketball, because if players were allowed to just keep running around the court, it turns into a game to keep away, just like we see in the 3-on-3 overtime. So I'm curious as to see if maybe we'll see it in a couple years where the OHL introduces this overtime rule where you cannot take the puck back into your own zone after you cross the center line or blue line or whatever it is they may decide to go with. But still, some interesting news there on the junior hockey front coming out of Russia. Now, we do have a couple of import signings. This was done last week. I didn't want to just do a video on just a couple of signings. I wanted to wait until we had a collection of news items. So Ilya Protas, he signed with the Windsor Spitfires. He was the third overall pick in the CHL import draft. Protas, he was selected in the third round by the Washington Capitals. Played in the USHL last year. He had 14 goals, 37 assists, 51 points in 61 games. Had a great year last year. He also stands 6'4" and 196 pounds, so he's a big forward. You also remember Ethan Belchitz, who was selected first overall by the Windsor Spitfires in the OHL draft, a big body at center ice. So the Windsor Spitfires adding size, and I think this is just another sign that this team ready to make that step to go back into the playoff picture in the Western Conference. The West Division, I feel, is wide open at this point. You have to figure that the Saginaw Spirit, they're going to look to rebuild. The Sioux Greyhounds had several players graduate. They'll still be competitive, but it might take them time to get into a groove. Sarnia should be better. The Flint Firebirds have made several trades to improve their team. So I think the West, it's wide open, and the Windsor Spitfires, they have a chance here to show that they're more than capable of ruffling some feathers in the West Division. And one more signing to talk about. The Guelph Storm have signed Daniel Skvortsov. He was selected 27th overall in the CHL import draft. He is a towering defenseman, 6'4", 200 pounds. Spent the last 2 years playing in the MHL in Russia. He was the captain of Russia's U16 and U17 national teams, so some good signs there. He has leadership qualities, but we'll have to wait and see how this translates to the North American game because the ice is smaller size. It's a little more physical in North America, but the problem last year for the Guelph Storm was the goal scoring. So obviously this is a big defenseman. So are we going to be looking at another season where the Guelph Storm are in low-scoring games? It appears that way, but of course, George Burnett has time to address that between now and the start of the regular season. So that's what's going on right now in the Ontario Hockey League. It's the middle of summer. News is usually pretty slow, but that item there talking about the overtime rule change, very fascinating. Love to see your thoughts on that. If you want to see a rule introduced for overtime here in the Ontario Hockey League, put your comments down below. After this, we're going to hop right back into the OHL team history series. We have 2 more teams to go. And then I'm going to do just a look at expansion opportunities for the Ontario Hockey League. And how did the expansion process go the last time around? We'll take a look at that going forward. But if you're not subscribed and you want to stay in touch with what's going on in the Ontario Hockey League, feel free to hit subscribe. This channel is continuing to grow. We take a look at everything going on around the Ontario Hockey League. I do cover the Barrie Colts, so there is a little more coverage when it comes to the Barrie Colts when something comes up, like the Cole Beaudoin signing today. So love to have you join the channel as we continue to grow, and don't forget to hit like if the thumbs up helps this channel grow, and I appreciate all your support. So until next time, we'll talk to you again soon.